What's going on, everybody? Welcome back for another episode of the Crane Kicks Lex podcast. You probably noticed if you're watching. If you're not watching, I'm going to tell you we're down a person today. Kyle beached way too hard. He just went off, lived the good life, made his whole persona beach, and then had to come back to reality. And it was such a shock to his system. He just couldn't manage to make it tonight. He's sitting somewhere in a dark room staring at just like screensavers of beaches that slowly pass by with calming music and wishing he was back where he once was. But that's okay. It's okay. We're going to pour one out for him. I don't have anything to pour. And even if I did, my room I'm in is carpeted and my wife would destroy me. So I'm not going to actually do it. We're going to hypothetical pour out. So
I
Kyle, we
picture
miss you.
Kyle also listening to the soundtrack to Cocktail during this time as
Oh,
well.
yeah. You know what? That sounds about right. That's pretty on brand. I'm not gonna lie. That sounds, very Kyle. Um, you know, even Kyle just being Kyle. He's Kyle and he's Beach. But we miss him. We understand though, life gets hectic even after vacation. Everybody, I tell them, you need a vacation after a vacation. It's a matter of life. We always try and build in that little extra day when we come back from a vacation where we can just exist. Not that our kids usually let us. We come back and they're like, we still have energy. Let's do things. And I'm like, I just drove 13 hours. Can I just be? Can I just exist as something? And they're like, yeah, you can be a crash pad. And then they jump off the top ropes and elbow me in the sternum. But you need that. You need that recharge day. So we totally get it, Kyle. We miss you. No slander while you're gone, but it's good. Dillon, a lot of stuff going on. Everybody out there, it's listening. Just because we're down somebody doesn't mean we're not going to cover all the newest stuff. Let's get into our normal deal though. Like, what's up with you, Dillon? What's going on, man?
Nothing much. Just like Kyle, I am pretty gassed myself. I was also on a vacation recently too, but then it came back to work, and work's been kind of hectic. So it's been a tiring day. So it's good to just vibe out.
Yeah, I totally get it, man. We haven't had a vacation yet. We are going to we plan to go to Greenville in October. That was kind of our thing because fall break would be happening. And we're like, okay, towards the end of the season, or really the end of the season before. I'm pretty sure it's the last game, right? Before we get into playoffs. But in
Hmm.
any case, my wife was just like, you know what? We could go this weekend. No, it's Monday. The game is on Saturday. So
Yeah.
so now of course I'm like, do we go? Like, should we get everything together? Like, will the boys be okay taking this long trip? And so we got that on our plate. And then like life has just been hectic. We moved the boys into the same room. They got bunk beds now. So it was kind of stressful wondering if it was gonna be like a scene off of Step Brothers, where they think bunk beds are great, and then all of a sudden one collapses, and then they're like, Dad! And so I was kind of stressed, but it's
That
been
is
going
not
great.
your toothbrush.
Yeah, right. But it's going good, luckily for now, until they realize that they're in a small confined space together, um, and they hate it. But like a week strong, we're good. We're good. But we'll see. Hopefully, I can get some like cool vacation vibes going, like you and Kyle. Rest, relax, get the blood pressure down,
Yeah.
or not, and just thrive in the chaos. Because why not? Eventually become immune to it. I guess has to. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I may be going down there. I don't know. I don't know. If I do get to go down there, then at least I get to banter with Gio and Brandon in person. And then just really, really hope that Jamie Smith doesn't come back and haunt us again like he always does, like some weird ghost of Christmas past,
Yeah.
just floating out of the ether to make our lives terrible. I, in fact, like tweeted something to the TLP pod, the Triumph, Liberty, and Pursuit of Happiness pod. We did an episode with them a while back for a game that we went, and they were asking for questions, and I was like, can Jamie Smith just take the night off? And Gio, being the person that he is, he decided to tag him in it. And he's like, why don't you answer this, Jamie? So we'll see if an answer comes. I don't know. It might already be sitting there waiting. But if I'm there in person and we win, you better bet. I'm gonna be insufferable. Um, I am. I've got to be. I think there's a
You have
couple
to
of
be.
going down. A couple other Lexington fans. So Tim Meadows, I know is going. He and I believe his family. So should be some appropriate green representation there.
Yes.
Not that weird faux green. We got the spectrum of greens. They just got like the one and it's not even the good one. So whatever. Anyway, we're getting off track here. Let's get rolling. Let's get rolling. We're gonna pause on the League One talk. I want to talk about W League. We're almost done with this
Yeah.
W League season. There's only one game left. That's
That's
it.
crazy. Who's the opponent?
The
Who we
last one
got?
is Kingshammer. We got to face Kingshammer again
Okay.
to finish
I
things
like
out.
our
And
chances.
me too. The hard thing though is like the game's happening at the exact same time as the Triumph versus Lexington SC game. So it's like double
It's
whammy.
very
So
unfortunate.
I feel like the obvious choice, the obvious answer is to go to the W League game and have the men's team playing on your phone or
Yeah.
bring a computer or something and then just dual wheel, just watch both at the same time.
I know it's not capable of it, but it'd be great if the Jumbotron at the stadium could put the game on. That would be
That
hilarious.
would be the worst though if I was a player actually playing on the
Oh
field because
yeah,
I think I
you'd
would even
get
like
totally
stop and
get
look and be like,
distracted.
"Oh
Yeah.
man, like Ates just about scored. Oh wait, what just happened?" And then they just go running past me. You say that, man, but like I thought, did you go last year to the season ticket holder event? That was like LSC Indoor 2
No.
for the Charlotte match. They had like the game up on a big inflatable. It wasn't an inflatable screen. It was just like a pull up screen. I don't know, but it was cool and it was good vibes. And I was like thinking about that. We had this really long stretch of away games, and we haven't had one of those yet. We haven't
I
had
know.
like a watch party thing for season ticket holders or
I
anything.
know.
That would have been really cool. Maybe when we
Yeah.
get the stadium built, they'll do your suggestion. Maybe they'll have like some away games where they'll put it on like the big screen and everybody can go to the stadium and watch.
That would be really cool. I think
That'd
that's a
be
great idea. As long as they watermark my name on it because it's a good, it's a good idea. You know.
Yeah, it's you. You get all rights.
Yeah.
And we're cheap.
Yeah.
If you'll just like toss us a fiver here and there,
Yeah.
just give us
Yeah.
like a permanent seat at the stadium.
A,
I
a
don't even need
free
my
a
name
free
on it.
hot dog at the game. God damn it.
Yeah, just a free hot dog at the game.
Yeah, jeez.
Wait, I feel like you're selling us a little short. Like, throw a
I
beer
know.
too. We need one of
Yeah,
those as
yeah,
well. Like,
okay.
so we'll have a combo, Kyle or Dylan. We need
I
a
don't want to go
combo. Like
thirsty.
I'm missing Kyle, and I'm already saying his name. That's cool, we'll do. Maybe that's him. Like he's talking about me, and now I'm summoning him. Oh man, I'm getting us off track. See, this is why we need Kyle because he reins me in. And you feed the beast. It's
I know I
bad,
do.
Dylan. It's bad. You need
I bet
stop
if
feeding the
you
beast.
I bet if you held a seashell up to your ear right now, you would hear just Kyle talking about
Yeah.
his marathon that he ran.
And then he would say something like, yeah, because this is what everybody's listening in to hear as his like cue, his little subtle cue to get back on track. So we're back on track. W League Kings Hammer this Saturday, 7 p.m. I believe it's at Toyota Stadium. I mean, somebody can, of course, check and then correct me if I'm wrong, but we're going to be there going one last round. Now, it's already decided who's getting out of our division for playoffs. Indy
Yeah,
11. I don't know if anybody's really surprised by that. They kind of ran away with our division. Like, man,
for sure.
they're just monsters. I feel like I don't watch every other division, but I feel like there's no way we don't have one of the tougher divisions in the entire league. I mean, I might be spewing
Yeah,
nonsense here, but I
I
feel like we have a
I think
pretty
we
tough division.
do. I think we do as well. But I also want to give a shout out to our team because they played Indy very well in the game the other day.
They
Because
did.
like
They did.
and they played two games in quick succession too. I didn't say
Yeah.
that right, but you get what I mean.
Yeah. Words like that
But
are tough.
yeah, I know.
Succession.
Yeah,
Succession. Now,
it's
now I'm
also
overthinking it. I'm
10:30.
never gonna be able to say it right.
It's 10:30 at night, and I'm an adult. You know what I mean, too. So,
Yeah, Dylan has to work tomorrow, and he came on to record for you all. No, we would have done anyway. You're not beholden to us.
so
But,
yeah, I like they held their own against Indy 11. I know they lost, but I feel like
yeah,
like we lost worse earlier
Yeah.
to them. So I feel like we progressed as a team, and I think we gave it to them a little bit, and you know, and I thought we played Louisville pretty well too. And
Yeah.
ended up in a draw. Obviously, it ended up in a very unfortunate way, something that we
Yeah.
don't want to see happen. Um, so yeah, but we'll obviously talk about that. But yeah, I think
Yeah.
the team should be proud of what they've done and what they've accomplished. And yeah, Indy 11, they deserve what they got. They deserve to advance. But I don't think we're nothing to shake a stick at.
I mean, I agree with you, man. There's obvious improvement. There had to have been for us to at least lose by less, And I know some people were like, "Oh, well, we still lost." Yeah, true, but there's something to be said for improvement. I feel like it was a good game. I got a chance to watch most of it. I really wanted to go out to the racing game, but I had a training that was all day in Bowling Green, and I literally got back into Lexington. Like, I don't know, the game was already 20 minutes in or something, but I got to watch the rest on my phone at least, um, while trying to get situated for the night. And that was like impressive from Racing Louisville. They clearly learned from that trouncing we gave them in the previous game, because they completely changed their whole vibe and they were like pressing the heck out of us. They were like on us. You could not get any breathing room in our defensive third. Like, there was just none. The moment the keeper got a hold of the ball, there was people just waiting like hyenas, ready to snatch it and just press the heck out of us. So I knew it was going to be a tough game. You mentioned Michaela Woods. She came up clutch, 2 goals. So now I think for the season, she's the
Yeah,
leading goal scorer. I think she's at 6. I don't know if she's the leading goal contributor or not, because I know Fishnick's had some assists on
assist.
top of her goals. Is it one assist, or is it two? I think it's at least a couple.
I
And then
thought
of course she
she
had her
she
five
might have
goals.
two.
Yeah. So, but no matter what, like, Michaela Woods has been on fire
Yeah,
recently. And then, I don't know what happened, but if anybody was watching the game there or through the stream, obviously there was something that happened medically, that made it so Woods needed medical attention. Ended up getting transported to a local hospital. It seems like, from what's been said, she's okay now, which is great news. Which is great. It's scary. It's scary whenever you have a
yeah,
player down on a field for like almost 30 minutes
yeah,
and you don't really know what's happening. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's not really our business,
yeah,
HIPAA
for
or
sure.
not. It's kind of like people deserve their privacy. Um, but it is super awesome to hear that she's doing well. You never want anything to happen to anybody, no matter what team they play for. But
Yeah,
whenever they're representing your city and you kind of have that fandom for them, it kind of hits a little extra and gets a little pit in your stomach. But you know,
and
it was
especially to someone who's been going off recently
yeah,
too, and like their
yeah,
performance has been stellar. So
right. And I really want to shout out, especially like Racing Lou fans, but like the Lavender Legion, Becky Morgan, who does a lot of content for Racing Louisville, at all levels, and she does a lot of women's soccer content in general. She reached out to me and said, Lavender Legion, the supporters group for Racing Louisville, one of them anyway, was concerned and just wanted to make sure that they knew if everything was okay, because they hated how that ended. So that was really, really cool, very sportsmanlike, for them to reach out like that. And it was good sporting for everybody. Just agree, let's call it at a draw. Let's not sit here and try and continue to play a game after something happened that was obviously very serious. And it's just not fair to put the players through that, because they care. They're stressed. They don't want to go
yeah,
back out there and just keep playing a game whenever they see a teammate or an opponent go down on the field with a serious issues.
it's a
So
tough thing
um,
for sure.
it is, right? It's very tricky. You don't like to see that ever happen, but you know, either way, split points. We got one last chance to get 3. We are currently, if I recall, tied for second in the division with King's Hammer. So this could be a tiebreaker right now. I think they've got a leg up on us with their victory over us that they had. But if we can beat them, I think we end up being second place at least, which isn't shabby for year 2. I think that's pretty respectable for us.
Yeah,
But we'll
for
see.
sure.
Yeah. Railbirds are doing Golden Horseshoe again this year, but not
Yeah,
just for USL one. Last year, Charlie Machel won for USL one, and then Knoxville
he's no
decided
longer
they
with
wanted him.
us.
So yeah, it stings.
Yeah.
But it's anyway. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
dwell on that. Still love you, Charlie. But they're going to be giving it out to not just USL one. They've also decided to do it for the Super League and W League.
Which
So
is
that
awesome.
means, yeah, I love it. I love the recognition. That's so cool. And my only regret about the W League one is I wish there was more information about the players out there. And I
Yeah,
don't really think that's. I mean, it's hard. It's not really anybody's fault so much. It's because I mean we had a slew of players announced at the beginning, and then we never saw them on the field ever. Like not even in
yeah.
the 18. So things cycled, and then players came in that we didn't know
And
were going to play for us. Just
we've
hard.
said on previous episodes too, it's so hard to find stats for these
Yeah.
games and for
Right.
the players. It's so hard to keep track of
Hmm.
everything,
Hmm.
and it's really unfair. Like
Hmm.
it's totally unfair. They should
Right.
be tracked, and you know it's important data. So, but
Yeah.
I really wish we had it because then we could make more informed decisions,
Right.
more informed votes per se.
Yes. And one of the tough things too is I feel like Charlie won last year for a lot of his like vibes and leadership, and that people just really liked him as a person and a
Yeah.
player. And I don't know that there are going to be many W League players that benefit from that this year, just
Hmm.
because it just depends on how many eyes were on the field. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's if the people who watched have a good grasp of, oh,
Yes.
this person's name never gets, brought up on social media, but I saw
They're
the impact they had on the game, and so I'm going to
yeah.
give them my vote. Whereas maybe the more casual fan is going to see like, whoa, Fishnick's name came up 40 times, Wood's name came up 40 times, Utley's name came up 40 times, which very deserving players, don't get me wrong. But it's more of like, you see certain names a certain number of times, and then it kind of locks into your brain versus maybe somebody you didn't see quite as often, like, Autumn Weeks. Her name didn't come up as often, but she was a super valuable player out on the pitch.
Yeah.
You watch the game, and she's a great game manager, and she does awesome on the field. Or, Trinity Watson, or, you just have this whole slew of players that do a really great job. But that's okay. Somebody's going to get recognized, and there are options out there. A lot of good options whenever you get a vote. So when the voting takes place, which I think it's actually live now, you got to decide. I have a really tough time with this. I
Yeah.
kind of even debated on like us even doing this because I'm
Hmm.
like, I really don't know if I can choose. I'm still just like, what do I do with this? But I am going to vote. I am going to choose somebody that I think should get the horseshoe. And I was caught between like, I don't know, 5 or 6 different players that in my mind, from watching as much as I did, I was like, these are really, really awesome, impactful players. I don't know,
I
Dylan.
I don't know who you're gonna say, and I don't know if you know who I'm gonna say, but I think who
No, we
you
didn't.
say like will change what I say too. You
Oh
know what I
yeah,
mean? Like, so I
is
don't.
this you saying I have to go first?
Yeah, I mean, you volunteered. It seemed like, so I was
Mm,
hoping.
okay, okay, okay. I see. All right, power move here. Power move. All right, let's go. All right. This one was really, really, really hard for me. So like I said, lots of players that are just really good on defense and game management and control of the ball. I mean, we've brought up Smekerud on here before, how great of a back she is. Autumn Weeks has come up in here before. Um, Fontan, there's just a lot of player names that makes this type of voting hard for me. And you guys, if anybody's listened to me for any amount of time, doing this podcast, even prior to Dylan and Kyle coming in and making this infinitely better, uh, I'm very indecisive. I feel like I'm choosing my favorite kid, and it hurts. So really, I kind of narrowed it down to 3, and I feel bad that it's like the obvious 3. So we got Kaylee Utley. Like, it's just ridiculous how much she tears it up on the wings, right? Super dangerous, prolific scorer. I feel like anytime a ball is sent up the field, she is just running 500 miles an hour and
Mhm.
then ready to take a shot.
She's very
Michaela Woods,
instinctual too, like,
yes,
her play is very instinctual. She knows what to
and
do.
poised,
Yes,
poised,
yes,
very, very mature playing style, right?
yes,
Michaela Woods, just because she's an absolute beast on the field, like I
yes.
love her aggressive playing style. It is like when I played, I wasn't an attacking player, but that was me. I was like, you mean business, and you're gonna hustle, and you're gonna be on people, and you're going to battle for that ball, and they are not going to come away easy with that ball. And then like the way that she just oozes confidence, taking a shot from anywhere, like anywhere, anytime, right? So, man, like definitely awesome. And then of course Fishnick. Uh, Fishnick has been just clutch, goals, assists, both. Really fun to watch. Very poised on the pitch. When she's out there that things are going to happen. I mean, on social media, I know not everybody who listens is maybe is on there perpetually is me, but her name came up a lot. Like anytime that she wasn't shown in a lineup, everybody's like, "Where's Fishnick? What's happening? Why don't we have Fishnick?" Which you have like 4 games a week. Not really that, but you know what I mean? It's just boom, boom, boom. You need to manage workloads a little bit, but it kind of came down to those 3 for me. And I feel bad if anybody thinks that's like a cop out answer, just because they were prolific scorers on the team. But it wasn't even just that. It was also the other little things that they showed. I shouldn't even say little things. They're great things, great, big, amazing things that they showed on the field that really caught my eye. And I don't know. I think my horseshoe. Oh no, I don't
Oh,
know.
if it's any consolation, I've been, like, sitting between 2 of those 3,
Yeah,
so
yeah. I think my horseshoe is gonna have to go. Um, ooh, Fishnick. I think I'm gonna go Fishnick.
okay.
Final answer. Wait, I got to phone a friend. Hold on. I got to phone Kyle. No, no. I think I'm gonna go Fishnick. I think that's what I feel, and I don't want this to sound like anything that any other player was less valuable. I just feel like there were so many times where, um, if we saw her name in that lineup, it was a different game for us. It just was. And you could also say like, well, also think about like, okay, when we're playing St. Charles and she's in there, of course it's a different game. It's St. Charles. Sorry, St. Charles, but St. Charles was bad this year. They just were. There's no getting around it. They got clobbered by everybody. But I just feel like she's a big time game changer. It just like clean with the ball, really effective on the field. I feel like she had a really amazing style of play, and I think that she kind of brought some fire to our team even before we started hearing like Woods' name come up. And of course like Woods kind of like grabbed the torch and then ran with it. Towards the end of the season, so you could almost like split it 50-50 with them. But I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna say Fishnick. Go with that. Who you gonna go with, Kyle? Or yeah, I just do that again. I keep
Oh
saying
my
Kyle.
god.
I gotta
I
stop
thi
doing that. I miss Kyle. I'm sorry, Dylan. It's not that you're less than. It's
I mean,
just
it sounds like it. I
you're
mean,
not.
that's what it
I did it
it's like
again.
you're always thinking of Kyle.
Or is this our bit? See, Kyle, he would say this is our bit now. Dylan, all right. So who are you gonna go with, man? I took the leap. Who's yours now?
Okay, so, like, it's really hard because the 3 you mentioned are, like, the 3 I've been wrapping my head around, and then I narrow it down to 2, and then I narrow it down to just 1, and, like, even, I wanna be different than you in a way, but I also kinda can't help
No,
my
you gotta go with your
head.
gut. You
Yeah,
gotta go.
to me, it's Fishnick as well.
Yeah,
I just,
yeah,
um, really liked her style of play, on the ball and off the ball. Just, I said this about, Utley as well, instinctual. I really
hmm
like the passing play in addition
yeah,
to the skills of being a striker and a forward. Just really impressive. Y you know You wonder if there's any translation to the higher league. We have the Super League.
Yeah,
If there's one person that I'm really like hopeful for, it's her. Like I would really
yeah.
like to see her, you know, obviously maybe not a starter, but like in, you know, a
In the mix
couple
somewhere,
late
right?
minute yeah, a couple late minutes, getting some reps, like, really that I think that would be really great for her career, and I think she's got a bright career ahead of her. Mm, I think my head and my gut are just telling me that my vote would be her.
Yeah. It's really cool how much improvement we had from our W League.
Yes.
Um, like just in a simple year, and it's a hard league to build off of because I mean, USL one, you're gonna have people leave and come in, and it's kind of transient in that way. But W League, I feel like even more so from year to year. You'll have your players that are already out of college that just are still wanting to be in the game and still playing at a high level. So you might end up with them, coming back. But then your collegiate players, they might move on to do something else. They might decide they don't want to come back. They might go transfer, and so you don't really know if you're going to have that same consistency. It was cool to see us be so competitive this year.
Yeah, and like you talk about all the turnover and stuff, and it's hard to create chemistry and like build chemistry. But
Yeah,
I feel like our team had chemistry, and I feel like that was kind of built into their success this
I agree.
season.
I agree. There was a ton of chemistry on that field. There was just
It
a
was
lot of clicking.
oozing.
Yeah, there was just a couple games where I saw like, I don't know if we're doing it quite the same we did on the other ones, but I think that's just games where we saw a lot of rotation. But whenever
Yeah.
we saw kind of like our key core members out there, because I feel like we did end up with kind of a group of core members, it
Yes, we
was a
did.
lot smoother. But that's just because they used to be out there. It's they're just doing their thing together. But it was real cool. It makes me hopeful for the future, especially you mentioned Super League. You can't help but think that something. I don't have any inside info or anything. I know sometimes like I've gotten stuff in the past, but I can't always reveal everything. But I seriously don't have anything. My gut tells me after this Kings Hammer game, we're going to see some of our W League player names pop up for the Super League. I could be wrong, but I seriously doubt we're going to go through the trouble of having a lot of talent brought in for W League and then not think, yeah, a couple of these need to be playing up. Um, so I'm very curious to see what happens after this weekend. If we see like Monday, all of a sudden it's like, boom, here's this person that you guys got to watch play. Boom, here's this other person. So we'll see. And like you said, there's names that you can't help but be like, I have a feeling about you. I have a
There's a
feeling that
couple
you're
on
going to be
the defensive side as well that I
there. Yeah.
would maybe like to see.
Yeah. I agree, man. And looking at a lot of the Super League signings all over the place, you have people with professional experience. You also have a lot of people getting signed that are just in the collegiate boat. They have college experience, and then this is their first foray into the pro sphere. So it's not like it's far fetched to think that our W League players would be in that realm of possibility to be signed. So we'll see. We'll see. I hope we see some of them there, or I at least hope that they come back for W League again next year. I had fun watching them. Those were
Yeah,
some really exciting games. I
fun
feel
games.
bad for anybody who couldn't make it out to them, or
Yeah,
at least watch,
missed
like
out.
especially with it being easier. The sports engine stuff way easier to watch on than anything before, and they were electric games. They were just so much fun. But we'll see. There's always next year. If you missed them, next year go their route.
Sports Engine runs way better than
Yeah,
ESPN Plus too.
yeah.
So,
Or 11 that they used last year for W League. 11 was kind of a little wonky. And so Sports Engine was really, really nice. And then especially we could like follow teams and then it would be like,
oh
hey, Lexington
really? I didn't know
Sporting
you
Club.
could do that.
I didn't either. And then I happened upon it. I was like sitting there
Well, there
watching
you
one of the
go.
streams and then like I turned my phone sideways and then it was like, do you want to follow Lexington Sporting Club? And I was like, do you know who you're talking to
Why,
right now?
yes, I do.
Do you know who I am? So I'm all in on it, man, and I'm glad that it's more accessible. And I think we will see some more buy-in with the W League stuff. Once people see Super League and realize that there might be some connections there. You might get those sneak previews or some of those players want a little bit extra touches on the ball, and so they play W League and then pop into Super League fresh and ready to go. But yeah, we'll see. Let's we gotta talk about Super League. I keep saying Super League. How many? We're at the Super League counter time, right? 15, maybe 30. I don't know.
I'm not
Um,
counting.
Me neither. Me neither. Kyle would be. No.
He's
Yeah.
still thinking about Kyle.
Still thinking about Kyle. So man, I'm so excited that we're finally signing Super League players. And this feels very reminiscent to me of the very first season for the USL One squad. And everybody's like, well,
Yeah.
yeah, you dummy, it's the inaugural Super League squad. But in the sense that, like, not everybody knows these players. USL One has been established, and so anytime we would pull in somebody that has been around USL One, everybody's like, "Oh yeah, I know that guy. Like, yeah, he did this and played here for this team, and here are his stats, and here's this radio chart, and here's what we
This
know
is
about
the
him."
first team of the first season.
Yes, yeah, and like a lot of these players that we're signing, they've had great collegiate careers. Some of them have played professionally. But to be honest, like, unless you watch that collegiate career blossom in real time, or you happen to live one of these places that they played pro ball, it's kind of tough to find film on them,
Yeah,
which
it is.
is like a cool challenge for me. Like, I love digging
He
through that stuff.
does.
Like, I'm a
He tells
librarian.
us all the time. We
I
call him
do.
Dig Dug because he's always
Dig Dug.
digging for stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, like a private eye. But my skills are only good for soccer, lower league soccer. Well, actually, not even lower league now. Division One. What am I saying? What am I saying? I gotta
Yeah,
get used to us having a full
you
on pro team.
you silly goose.
Silly goose, man. Got that silly goose in me. I love though, like having to dig and then find that stuff and then watching their film and then like them being hidden gems. Like today, I was looking through our two newest signings and I was watching a couple of their games, and it was cool. It's cool seeing those glimpses. Now, of course, those are different teams, different leagues. Things might look different when they're here, but it was really, really exciting to do that because unless you're, you know, a freak like me and you're constantly wanting to learn more about these players before you see them on the field for us, the casual fan's probably going to have a tough time finding some of these things. And even if they don't have a tough time, they might not be willing to put in that like extra effort. But I don't know. I don't know.
AKA, not everyone is as crazy as Tyler.
Yes. I feel like you did like a weird like Sith shift
I,
here.
I
The,
put the
the
like the evil
felt
Kermit
ominous.
meme.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It felt ominous. Felt
Yeah, so
ominous. You were down like
we're about to talk about we're gonna transition to League One after this, so that's why I had to transition into Sith mode.
this is a little early. You're bumming me out already. Like, let me
All
ride the high right
right, all right, I'll go back out. I'll go back out.
now. I'm just kidding. If you're cold, go for it. No shame. Hey, but we've got our first six signings. First six have appeared. If you're listening, you haven't looked at our write ups for them. Check them out. I mean, I know that they're not like
Please check him
earth
out. Tyler does
shattering.
a very, very good job.
I don't think I do,
He
but I
does.
like doing it. I like doing it. It's
He
fun.
does. And if you want to
Yeah.
learn about the players that we are signing, the people who are going to be representing our team, Tyler does a great job of giving some insight into them. So please read.
I appreciate that. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, man. I do love it when people actually read it, just because after we get our kids to bed, hang out with my wife a little bit. When she goes to sleep, like I chill in the living room, throw something on the TV, and like I watch film and I type these things up. And before I know it, it's like 3 in the morning, and I'm like, oh man, I stayed up really late doing this, but I went down the rabbit hole and I couldn't stop myself. But I'm really excited for people to know more about these players. And, if anybody's listened in the past, my philosophy. I know we choose the players, but I also feel like the players choose us just as much. And so, in my own weird way, this is kind of like my homage to them and my welcome to them of being like, look, I want people to know about you because I'm excited and I want everybody else to be as excited for you to be here. Because no player wants to sign with a team and everybody be like, who are you? Oh, cool, whatever. Great. Awesome. Right? I want them to be like, "Oh, I know you. Yeah, like you played at this college and you had like 40 million goals, and then you went and played in these 5 countries, and now you're here, and this is awesome." So that's my hope. That's why I do these things. So the more you check them out, the more I appreciate it. Um, and then shout out, he probably doesn't even listen to this, but Coach Mike Dickey has been really supportive. He's
He
been
has.
awesome. He's been great about sharing and liking and supporting what we're trying to do with it. It stresses me out a little bit because I'm like, man, I hope he doesn't think that I'm a complete
I know.
like
There's
just
a lot of
dummy.
pressure.
And there is, because I'm like, what if I'm seeing is completely wrong and what he sees is different? And he's like,
Yeah, yeah.
no, that is not their
Well,
skill set. This is what they do well. And I'm like, oh man.
I
But if
did the
he's
write up.
sharing,
I did the write up about his career and his signing for
yeah.
us. So I feel
Yeah.
like there's a lot of pressure on me. I feel like
Oh
he
yeah.
might,
He did message me and say he hated it, but it's
uh,
not a joke. Oh, I wasn't gonna tell you
great.
that.
Oh
I'm
man,
just kidding.
now I won't be able to sleep tonight. Thanks.
No, no, I'm just joking. No, Coach Sticky has been really, really cool and supportive. So shout out. I don't know if that message will reach him, but it's been really, really awesome to see that. So let's get into some of these signings. Okay, let's
Yes.
jump into this. We did a lot of midfield heavy signings.
Yeah.
A couple of forwards.
Um, Make sure when you're going to read the names and make sure you give their positions for us. And when I say us, I mean me.
You specifically.
No,
All
I
right.
know other
So
people are probably curious as well,
I know. I'm
but
just kidding.
I am.
Uh,
But I am.
right. So we had our very first ever. I think a lot of people thought we were gonna like sign some homegrown Kentuckian. Like, we pulled out Kalen Fox for USL 1, and they were like, "Guess what? He grew up around here, and he's our first signing ever, and he has USL 1 experience." We didn't. Everybody got thrown for a curveball, and we signed somebody that's not even from the country. We got somebody that's out of New Zealand. So New Zealand coming in representing Michelle Rayner, our
Not
sporting
even in the
director
same
for the women's
hemisphere
side.
as us.
No, you kind of wonder if her hand was in it because she's a Kiwi as well. But it's really cool. She has a pro career, or yeah, I should say has, because she played pro and now she's still pro. But Grace Wisniewski, I'm pretty sure I said that right. I'm pretty sure I watched some film. Wisniewski, she is a midfielder, I believe, primarily defensive midfielder, but a midfielder. Really excited to have her here. She's got experience playing in top flight in New Zealand, coming to us. Going to be awesome for us. Really, really good with distribution, strong on the ball. Had an ACL injury, but recovered well from that. So looking to come and just be awesome here.
International team, right? You said?
International team
And
as well.
anytime you get a player with international team experience, that's a huge boost. Like seriously, those are very good
Yep.
players.
Yes. Like so, and actually, we have quite a few of those already. Like in just our 6 signings, I think a large number have played at some level in the national team system for their respective countries, which is
Mhm.
really, really cool. Whether it be early on in their career, or pretty late in the mix, but they've all kind of shown up. So we got her. We've got another player that's been listed as a midfielder and as a forward, but seems like she primarily operates as a forward. We've got Mary Kate McGuire. So she's coming out of the University of Mississippi. So this is one of our players that does not have pro experience. Is coming out of college, but was a prolific goal scorer. Very, very effective on the assists. Tore it up for Duke, in fact. So really, really strong player that's coming to us to hopefully bag tons of goals. Going to be awesome for that. We also have, sorry, I got to pull up my list. I know I'm having to scroll a little bit further than I want. Our third signing, which this one kind of bums me out, mention because I feel really, really bad for her. We had Alicia Laramie, who joined us, a defender forward hybrid, which was kind of cool. Like whenever I heard that she was a defender that transitioned to being a forward, but then also sometimes played defender in her college career, like they would just kind of switch her in the season. It wasn't like a 50-50 split, but every once in a while they would have to call on her to play defense, and then move her back to striker. Pretty exciting stuff. she was our third signing, and is coming out of Long Beach State. Unfortunately, if you guys follow me on anything, which you probably do if you're listening to this, she announced on Instagram that she had an ACL injury, and is now in recovery. So um, it's kind of a bummer. As much as it sucks for us, I just feel bad that situation occurred to her, because these athletes work so incredibly hard, and then to have something like that occur just on the cusp of you starting your pro career. I mean, me, it would tear me up. It would eat me alive. Like, I would dwell on that so bad. But a lot of these athletes are made of tougher stuff. She seemed like she's really hopeful and upbeat about, hey, it's okay. I'll get through this and everything will be fine. So even if we don't see her on the pitch this season, which who knows, we might, but if we don't, um, still part of the LSC family. I still consider her part of this team, and I hope that she has a super speedy recovery. I hope that we can see her on the pitch at some point, even if it's not this season, maybe next season, because I was really excited for her to join us. But we'll see what happens. All the best to her. So those are our first three signings that we had, right? And out of those first three, only one with pro experience. So just for our pro experience tracker that's going on right now. Our fourth signing after Alicia was, there we go. We had Kimberly Mendez. So Kim Mendez, I believe she goes by Kim. That's what I've kind of picked up on. Ended up playing in Serbia, correct? Is that right, Dylan? I think it was
I think
Serbia.
so. Yeah.
Yeah, like professionally in Serbia. So she's another midfielder that's coming to us. Really cool story. Cool in the sense that like it shows how strong she is. Not cool in the sense that like, well, that's awesome that happened. But she actually overcame an aneurysm whenever she was a freshman in college and went on to continue to play collegiately. Was named captain, most inspirational player. Pursued a pro career afterwards. Even appeared for the women's Mexico national indoor soccer league team, and scored a goal beating the U.S. in a competition. That was really, really neat to see. But obviously, a lot of resilience that she showed to have something that like that occur. Again, these athletes are made of tougher stuff. Setbacks just don't keep them down, right? Our fifth signing that we ended up having was Alyssa Frazier. Alyssa Frazier is coming to us from another pro career, right? So um, she was around in the States for a bit. Asheville City SC, another W League team. She played for them for a while, a midfielder as well. Got a lot of midfielders, like I mentioned. So played for them, played professionally. I'm getting it mixed up. Where was she professionally? Dylan, help me out.
Well, she joined. She started her career at Ole Miss in
Right.
college, and then she transferred to Samford University, um, where she finished out her education there, and then she went on to Asheville City SC, like you said,
Yeah.
and then she went to Sweden and found herself there at oh man, these names.
They're
The
tough, aren't they?
Swedish, yeah, uh, Karlskoga. That
I like that. Karlskoga.
yeah, okay.
Karlskoga. There we go. I'm gonna go for it.
She has a crazy like journey too. Like then she
Right.
moved to Jet. Uh,
Chechia.
yep, Czechia.
Yeah.
Man,
And
my
then
geography is bad.
well,
And
she was
she
like what? AC Sparta Prague,
AC
which I think a
Sparta,
lot of
which is
people that follow soccer would
a
know about.
very that's a very good squad too.
Yeah.
Like they're a very,
Yeah.
very good squad. Um,
That's a common theme that I feel like people who are at least like relatively plugged into soccer are gonna recognize. That one
yeah.
like definitely piqued my interest whenever I saw she was there. I was like, oh dang, that's quality.
Yes. I thought I had the same exact thought too. When I saw that name, I was like, ooh, that is a big name. And then finally brought her to the Polish league and played for AP Orlen Dansk.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like
So
a lot decent amount of pro experience,
yes, all
honestly.
over too.
Right.
Well traveled, like, that's really good experience too.
Yeah.
Someone who played in different leagues and you see different styles, I think that's really important. I think that really can build a very, promising player too. So I really like, this signing as well.
She had a lot of accolades in like high school and college as well.
Mhm.
Just like I don't know, it seems like she just was really, really strong player, really great with assists, like an
Yes.
assist machine. I think I used that a couple of times, but it seemed like her assist numbers were pretty impressive. Like just general goal contributions were up there, but those ones really, really solid stuff.
You
Um,
mentioned in your write-up her intelligence too, just like
yes, I really enjoyed watching her film and stuff, just like the way sometimes you'll see players, especially when they're on the defensive side of the ball, where they kind of just cling to a player or two and shadow them. And I really like her style where she kind of gives players space and watches and then springs her trap. I think that's really really a smart style of play, and I like it a lot. That's I think shows a lot of soccer IQ. Just be like, okay, we need to read the field and then make that move. That way you don't open up unnecessary gaps. So I think she's going to be an exciting one. Then we got another player, Natalie Higgins. So she's another midfielder, another one with professional experience. She was at Oregon State, which Oregon State, whenever she first joined there, I watched an interview with her, and she was like, "Man, that first year was tough. We didn't win a single game, and it was not great, but things went up from there. Obviously, ended up getting herself some opportunities. Most recently, playing in Finland. She played in Finland, and then actually another player, unfortunately ACL injury, ended her time with her most recent team, but she's recovered, she's ready, she's back. So I'm really excited to see her kind of have that bounce back here with us. I think that's really exciting whenever you have players that get those opportunities and then they're like, okay, like I'm going to take this opportunity and I'm going to show that like I overcame this and I was ready for action. I don't know if you like Dylan. I don't think you had an opportunity to dig as much, but it's so cool because something I noticed is like a lot of times with um, like the men's squads and stuff. Whenever I look into players that have had like ACL injuries or some other type of injury that ended their season, like it's like a footnote somewhere,
Mhm.
and you kind of like find out about it by chance. Whenever I was looking at a lot of these players that ended up with an injury at some point in their career, there was a lot of like documentary style short episodes out there,
Hmm.
like produced by their team or by third parties, where they were like super open about their injury and their like recovery journey, which I thought was really cool. Like I ended up
Yeah.
watching those as much as I was watching film because I was just like sucked into it, like hearing them talk about you know, what they were thinking when it happened, and then the plans for how to recover from it, and then what they were gonna do, and kind of like their thought process as they went through the recovery, where they are mentally throughout that journey. So that was like a really, really neat, nice, open thing. Not that every player has to feel obligated to share everything about their injuries and their struggles, but it was kind of refreshing to see that human side and then realize it's not just, oh, I have an injury, I'm gonna go to rehab, I'll be back, no big deal. It was a
Yeah.
lot of like, oh wow, like that's what it does to you, and that's what it takes, and that's what type of person you have to be able to go through that. So that was kind of neat. I don't know, just like a weird like offbeat thing.
I
So
get you.
she she ended up having pro experience. She's with us now. That's somebody that I feel like can really be a great contributor on goals too. When she was in Finland for her team that she was with before her injury, she had like 22 goals in that season and got the Golden Boot in that league. So another
That's
exciting
nuts.
prospect, yes, for contributions on goal, and just in general, like her style of play on the field, very, very composed. Today's newest signings, I've just had a little bit of time. to look into some video and a little bit of their background. So I don't have as much on them, which of course with any of the ones that I mentioned, I know I kind of did like a boom, boom, boom speed run for you. My write-ups have way more. So I just don't feel like reading you guys word for word what I wrote because then we'll be here for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Um, and Dylan has work tomorrow. So go
Yeah.
check those out. But our two that I'm hoping to have my write ups out for here soon, maybe even by the time you listen to this, Madison Parsons. So interesting. She was a goalkeeper that transitioned to being a forward, and watching her style of play is really cool because she's kind of like your quintessential striker that kind of hangs out with the last defender and just kind of toes the line and then looks for those really really sweet opportunities. And she's got a nasty left foot. Like she has a really really great left foot. She'll take some wild shots. I was watching one of her pieces of film from UPSL, the team that she played for. And I know she was going one on one with the defender, and she was, it looked like just, if I'm remembering correctly, I think I am, she's just outside of the box off onto the right hand side. And then she makes this little cutback real quick, and there's barely any space around the defender, and just hooks it with her left foot, sails it over the keeper right in. So she's somebody that I really like her style of play. We talked about Michaela Woods and kind of how she has like that never quit physical style of play. I think that Madison Parsons kind of has that as well, where it's very much like, you're going to try and bully me off the ball, but I'm not getting bullied. I'm going for goal, and you're going to have to try your hardest to stop me. So she's an exciting one. I can't wait to look into more.
Good physical presence as well.
Yes, very much so. And then our brand new is Madeline Holm. Madeline Holm coming from Norway. So international signing. She's had national team experience. She's played professionally in Norway. She's played professionally in Italy, in fact. And she is a winger primarily. And like when I was watching her film, what it made me think of was like, this is a Norwegian counterpart to Nico Brown. Like that's what it made me think of. Like she's so fast, she's very technical with her feet. And again, not like Nico, but we have another left footer like our previous signing, and the way that she would take that ball and just find any way possible to get around an opponent, like she could just like send the ball 20 yards upfield and then still win a foot race around two other opponents, get to the ball, cut into the box, and then take a nasty left footed shot and then send it into top bins. I feel like all of her goals that I watched, like 80% of them were top bins, like just hitting right underneath the crossbar. Keepers can't do anything about it. So speed, agility, technical class, nasty left footed shot. She's another one that's super exciting. I can't wait to dig into a little bit more on her and then see kind of what else is in her game. Because right now I've just kind of gotten those first glimpses, but that's my initial takeaway about her.
She played in the top flight in the Spanish league as well, for a decent club as
Oh
well.
yeah, that's right. I think I said Italy. You're right. It's Spain. It was Spain that she
Yeah,
played in. Italy.
yes, yeah, she played in
Good
Spain.
save. Good job, Dylan. Kyle would have
Yeah.
never caught that. No, good man. I'm excited. Like I feel nobody really knows what to expect about Super League. I think some people expected it was going to automatically be like NWSL, and you're going to see Kristen Press. You're going to see, Sophia Smith. You're going to see all these players that are big names, and which is fair. It could have very well been that. And it might still be that. Not everybody's done with signings. And then other people are like, well, is it more of like an extension of W League? What's the quality going to be? I think that it's going to be a league that's going to grow into its own. Based on our signings and other signings, there's high quality coming in, and it's just players that I feel like maybe were missed by like NWSL, or even if they weren't missed by them, they're just players that have been getting opportunities in other areas of the world, and then we were able to entice them to come here and say, look, give it a shot in this new league. So I feel really hopeful. We only are 6 signings deep. We don't have that many at this point, right? And so I'm anxious to see what other ones we end up with and where we're going to be as a team and what kind of our composition is going to look like.
Yeah,
I'm excited though. I'm
yeah.
excited.
I'm
You know,
starting to get excited. I feel like as more of as more as more signings have been brought in, the more excited I've been. I don't know why that was so difficult for me to say. It's late, that's why.
because
But
it's
yeah, um, like the ones today, I think were really exciting signings. And I think that made me a little more excited and getting more into the, like, oh yes, this is coming up soon. We do have good players. We are going to be competitive.
hmm
Those are my hopes and dreams.
yeah. It's a really good mix of experience and a lot of players with a really strong track record. And I don't know. I'm very curious. And as we know, though, like it's all about chemistry and how we can bring them all together
Chemistry.
and just bring out the best in every single one of them. And I'm real hopeful that we can make that happen. I don't know. I'm pumped. I'm pumped. I'm ready for the next ones. Like whenever the two dropped today, I was like, yes, I knew it. I know. So it seems like it's like every other day right now. May not always stay that way. It might get like 5 tomorrow. Who knows? But it seems like it's kind of like an every other day track, and I'm ready for more. Check out the write ups. They're way more cohesive than me rambling live, trying to remember every human's backstory. Um, but I tried my best for you guys. But the write ups are much more together. So, just check those out just so you kind of have an idea of who is here, and that way you can be even more welcoming when they hit the pitch for us. That's my little sell for that. All right, Dylan's got his hood back up.
Yep, it's
Um,
time.
I guess we're switching to USL 1 now. So I feel like that's a little too ominous though for
No,
what
I
happened this
know.
weekend.
No, I know.
So
I'm not
okay,
even that negative about
okay,
the
okay. I was
yeah,
gonna say,
okay.
did you go down
No,
a dark place?
no.
I thought maybe you were like you went to Tony's tonight and then you had that amazing food and then you're like, you know what? Everything else is terrible in life because it's not Tony's. So I was kind of stressed that that's kind of the path you were going down.
No, no,
Okay,
no. I'm actually not like I'm not negative on this. Like the hood thing was just like a joke
yeah,
from, it was just a
yeah.
callback, really. But
Okay,
yes.
okay, all
But
right. Just
no,
check, just a friendly check in, Dylan.
yeah, yeah.
Wait, but
We're all
let's
good.
okay, okay, well, good. Let's talk about this game against Spokane. Now we put predictions out.
Yeah.
You felt a 3-0 thumping was coming our way, and it hurt me to type it, but I appreciate your honesty because
Yes.
everybody probably looks at my predictions and they're like, Tyler's such a homer. He's just always going to say they're going to win every time. And you're probably right. I'm probably
Yeah.
always going to believe. But it's nice to have that balance. And then I think we had that balance. And then Kyle said we were going to tie. He got the
Yeah.
tie right.
Yeah.
And we did. What did you feel like? Just let's kind of jump into the vibes of seeing another
Well,
change up in our lineup and seeing some of our old crew back
yeah,
in action.
I like the lineup change. When we saw the lineup, usually for this is a little inside baseball for the listeners, but usually when the lineup comes out, one of us will send it to our group chat and we just discuss our thoughts on it real quick, and then it seemed like we were all pretty positive on it, to be honest, and we got to see like kind of like a core group of guys that we saw from last year that we really liked, and those same players that we liked what we've seen from them this season, and then even in this game they played very well together, and I really liked the lineup, and personally, I would make some alterations. I maybe didn't think Cerritos was maybe the fit. I feel like he had some selfish plays that I think maybe, could have been really good opportunities if he was a little more unselfish. Isaac had a really, really good chance that one time. And I wish he maybe like there was another time when he actually was unselfish and I wanted him to be selfish. So I don't know. Maybe Isaac maybe needs to be moved around to fit in that place. But other than that, I liked seeing Tate in there. I like seeing Nico in there and Altez and Caputo in there as well. And he's been playing every game. And like these guys, there's just something happens on the field with like Nico and Tate on the field. Like just something happens. They just make things happen, and their style is completely different too.
Yeah.
and
That's it. 100%.
that's they're night and day too. It's like
Yeah.
Professor X and Magneto, but they're like so smooth together at the same time. Like it's just so wonderful to watch them play.
Yeah, I really liked it. And you mentioned Isaac. I love that he took that banger of a shot. Man, like if that had went in, oh man, that would have been so cool. Like respect to him because
Yeah.
he was pretty far out and he just saw that window and he's like,
He
let's
put
do
it
this.
on the net, and
He
like
did.
you have to make the
Yes.
keeper try. You have to make
Yes.
the keeper try, and he did, and I love that.
He did. I loved the heck out of that. Whenever he took that shot, I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And he had some pretty like solid moves for that. Like you said, I really liked what we put out here. I had it's weird, man. Like this is probably um one of the times where I've gotten blown up the most by fellow LSC fans sending me like DMs and stuff being like, what's going on? Like this person's missing or we're doing this or what's happening with this? This is crazy. And not always like crazy in a bad way, but it was just a lot of people commenting on like this
Yeah.
particular setup, which I found interesting. I liked it. I liked it. I do think, and this is nothing against our new guys. I do think there's something to be said for the chemistry that was built by the old guard last year. It's been shown to carry forward into this year. And I think whenever we have a nice mix of old and new, it sinks better. It sinks better.
Yeah.
Everybody's a little bit more in tune with one another. And this isn't saying we should only play the 2023 guys. It's saying like finding those correct balances
Balances.
between 23 and 24 has proven to be good for us. And I think
Yes.
last night, at least in the first half, we saw that. It was a good balance. Something that was kind of weird though, I don't think we actually texted about this during the game, but something that was a little odd to me was Tate and Nico on the same side. Did you notice that?
Yeah, there was a lot of movement,
Yeah.
from the from the sides, like, there were times when I saw Nico, like, on the right, but
Hmm.
he was on the left, but, yeah,
Yeah.
it was very interesting, and when the f lineup first came out, it was a
Hmm.
4-1-4-1, and then
Yeah.
later I saw it as a 5-1, like, we had 5
It
and
did
Tate was
change. Yeah.
the wing back. So
Yeah.
it is very interesting, and we kind of saw that in the game too. Like
Hmm.
he kind of did attack way more than he defended for sure.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah. Yeah, 100%, man, and it was just interesting seeing them both on the same side because 'cause I'm used to seeing, like, Tate run up, cross, and here comes Nico blazing up the other side to get
yeah,
involved in the play, but this time it was more of like well, here's Nico burning up, but then Tate's kind of, tailing him, and then if he gets the ball, he's gonna send it in anyway, but it was, I mean, it was really nice in that first half to see how solid we were. I don't
I
think we got
loved
enough
it.
credit. Galazzo, I love their production, but their commentators were kind of driving me wild because, to be
Yes.
honest, they were just like, Spokane, man, they're going to get it right. And they're such a good team. And did you know that? And then we scored, and they're like, well, Lexington scored, but Spokane, I'm pretty sure that they're still amazing. And I'm like, guys, calm down. Just calm down. It's okay to say that we played really well in the first half. You can compliment us because I think this is one of the few games where our structure was rock solid. It
Yeah.
was rock solid. We weren't doing like the Ted Lasso total football where you have people just kind of weaving in and out of each other, which sometimes you need that, right? Because you want to create chaos for the opponent and be like, wait a second, why is your winger tucking into the middle? Like, what's happening here? But I feel like it served us well to have everybody moving in unison
Hmm.
so efficiently and holding their positions up so well. I mean, when we were on the attack, people pushed forward and it just looked like we were one organism. And then when we were on defense, they pulled back as one organism and then just kind of moved all together. And it was beautiful. I
Yeah.
loved it. I
In the
loved the
first
style.
half, I loved the ball movement. There was a lot
Yes.
of really good, like, one-touch passes,
Yep.
playing from the same spot and just, like, moving it forward. Like, very smart, like, not dribbling into dangerous places, just, like, really smooth movements between the team, and like you said, they were very cohesive. They were moving up and down the field as one, and I really like that, and, we're bragging a lot on the guys from last season that are continuing to have success or what we perceive as success, right? And then I really have to highlight Caputo again because
Yeah.
he's crazy good.
He had a
And
great
like
game.
he is definitely one of those pieces where he fits into what we're building because
Yeah.
he was maybe a missing piece that we didn't have last season for sure, right? And he is great on the defensive side, and he's great in the attack. He's great pinging those passes.
Mhm.
I said it when he hadn't even played a single game for us. I loved his 1-2 play, and he has
Mhm.
continued to provide that 1-2 play very efficiently.
Yeah, he was really, really solid in that match. I mean, if you don't have Nico score that banger and you don't have Amal make 6 ridiculous
Lights out.
saves, then Caputo's probably your guy that performed the best, honestly. I mean,
Yeah,
Atas had a really great game too,
yeah.
but like
He had the
Caputo was just
assist
very solid. Yeah, yeah.
overall, yes.
He was really good. And man, like Amal though, like everybody's gonna dwell on that goal. That goal was like hard for Amal though because he's
Yes.
watching the guy with the ball, and then the defender's trying to
Cutback
get to
is
the
very
attacker.
hard for a
Yes,
goalkeeper.
it is cool because you have to trust my defender's going to have them covered. I got to watch the guy with the ball because if I turn to face the person that's crashing in, they're just going to slot one in from the side, and then we're doomed. And so it's really tough, and especially because those things are bang bang and it's hard. You hope that it doesn't come off like it does, but it does. But his other saves were wild, like the one that they chose for the badass moment of the match, where he goes charging at
Yeah,
Luis Hill, who is the person that put in the write up, like, watch out, because that guy is nasty.
that
And
guy's good.
Amal's like, we're not doing this. We're not doing
Yeah.
this today. Charges the dude, just takes out the ball. And that starts that play, that
Mhm.
gets us to where Nico scores that wild goal. Like the way that thing like clips off of their keeper's hand and then bangs into the underside of the crossbar and just still finds its way in. That was a goal. Like that was prime when Nico was scoring, 8 goals for us last season. That's that stuff.
That was a really impressive goal, like, really tight angle.
Yes. If that's not up for like goal of the week, then
Mhm.
we riot.
Yeah,
you know.
then they're drunk.
Yes. Man, I speaking of that, I hated how they kind of like paused that voting when Lancaster had his wild goal that was sent in
Mhm.
like off that cross from Diouf to win us that game. And then they were just like, "Oh yeah, we're not doing the goal of the weeks right now." I'm like, "What?
Rigged.
What? What were you doing?" Like, because you knew
Rigged.
he would. But Nico needs to be in for it because that thing was nasty. Like he just smashed that.
Um,
So
I I wanna
yeah.
highlight, there's a couple of the good things I wanna highlight, there's a couple of bad things I wanna highlight. Let's start with the bad. We'll go with the
Hmm.
bad.
Hmm.
The bad was I thought our, fullbacks defensively were not they didn't have it tonight or not tonight but the other night, right? I feel like that's where our problems were, which is very different from how every other game has been, where I feel like we've been pretty strong on our defensive side for the fullbacks. So this was a night where I felt like they kind of let us down, and maybe that's why that goal let in. I thought in the first half they were getting beat a little bit, and I was worried about that going to happen. And that's kind of how the goal came in. It was cut back from that side, the same side that we were getting beat on. So, you know, um, you know, moving on to a more positive thing, Modesto was back. He played very
Yeah.
well. The center
Yeah.
backs, despite the fullbacks not having the best game, the center backs had a very, very good game. Uche really stepped up at some key points that were really
Hmm.
impressive. And he's been kind of like the silent assassin, where you know, we're not talking about him that much, but he's been
Yeah.
solid, and so that's like
Yeah.
very, very good. But really, really good to have him and Modesto back. Modesto back is a huge boost for us. And think about the games where Modesto was not in, how many goals we let in, and now he's back
Yeah.
and we only let in one. So I think that's a big
Modesto is
point to him.
very underrated.
Yeah.
Like he is, and he definitely did well in this match. I know it wasn't like a perfect match, but he's coming back from injury, and I think that he showed why we need him in the lineup. I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure he proved himself, which was was interesting to see. And you're right, like out on the outside, we were getting beat a couple times, especially late in the game. Late in the game, it was tough,
Yeah,
and we did see like a weirdly uncharacteristic kind of like low key game from Jorge.
yeah.
Jorge is usually just locking it down,
I,
and
you know, he did. I would say he would want this game back for sure.
yeah,
He had the red card off of two
yeah.
fouls that I think were kind of bad. He
Oh,
knows he
don't get me
shouldn't
started
have
on that.
them. Yeah, but like the offset to that is he started the goal for Nico. Like
Yeah,
his interception got the ball to us to get to Nico. So like
yeah.
double edged sword.
Yeah, that's fair because, like, maybe I misspoke. Maybe I should kind of like pull back a little bit. I think for our game plan, he was pretty effective. I think maybe it's
No,
just like maybe
no,
maybe I'm
I
like overshadowing like. Well, no, this is me like walking it back because I feel like you want me to agree with you and I have to. I think you made a good point though, man. Like I feel like maybe some of the mess of the second half kind of overshadowed that. I mean, he was still like he was decent when we're talking about his assists, getting the ball up the field. I mean, he did have a few clearances, he did have some recoveries, but I think I'm used to seeing even more impact. Maybe I'm
yeah,
spoiled. I think it's coming from a place of being spoiled because I'm
mhm,
like Jorge's gonna do his thing. It's fine, and then it's like I sound like a UK fan right now. Whenever they win 40 championships and then they're like, we lost that one championship, and then everybody's mad. Sorry, I'm not trying to make fun of
oh
UK fans.
man,
It's oh
you
no,
did it
what have
now.
I done? What have I done? Everybody's like giving me bad reviews on YouTube and Spotify now. Never mind, I didn't say anything. Um, but yeah, I think maybe it's a little bit of me feeling spoiled, but I do think the double yellows is a little harsh for him though. Like Josh Doling for Spokane, he was getting
Yeah,
away with an
he got
awful
away
lot
with a lot. Well,
and was only getting warnings.
the refs were really, really bad. Like the offsides, that's just a
Yeah.
joke. Like
The one on the Audi wasn't. Yeah.
how many times were we
Yeah.
not actually offsides? The only
Yeah.
offsides they got correct was the goal that they scored. That was actually
Yeah.
the only time that they called it a correct offsides.
Well, even that one was like tricky because like then there's the whole rule of like it deflects off a tape, but was it intentional? Was it not intentional? And then how do you interpret that? But I could get into that all day, and then Benji will,
Yeah.
like be texting
He's
or sending
punching his
messages.
phone right now listening to
He
me.
is. Yeah, that's right. But I mean, I do think there were a couple of Nico runs that were, you could maybe make an argument that, all right, he was taking a step too early. But like that Liotti run that he would have had a
No way.
breakaway on goal, that was not off. I don't believe it for a second. And then, I want to go back to like Josh Doling for a second. Dude was fouling the heck out of our players. And every
Yeah.
time the ref was just like, hey, buddy, don't do that again. And then Jorge, like, give somebody a flat tire and he's like, yellow, dude, take that. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, that was just, he stepped on the back of his shoe and you're like trying to get him sent off. And so I do feel like I would have felt better if they had at least been a little bit more like, hey, man, you're kind of going a little ham. You need to chill out. And then if they had to do that with Jorge, okay, maybe I can take that. But I still don't know that he deserved two yellows out of this. But that's just how the season's been rolling for us. I feel like we're just like red card magnets,
Yeah.
and we're just trying to win the trophy for most red cards from
I
here on out.
There was a point where I was, like, really mad at, like, how many cards we had been getting,
Yeah,
but then I,
yeah,
like, looked at the stats and actually we're doing pretty
yeah,
fine
right.
on them. We're
And
actually
they got
kinda,
a
like,
decent number too.
middle lower of the road when in
Yeah.
terms of, like, fouls and cards, so
It's true, which is weird to think. But, and I don't wanna give too many props to Spokane because yeah, right? But Longmire, I have to say, dude, he is a nasty, nasty defender. He
Yeah,
saved their asses at
too many
least.
times.
Yeah, I don't even know if I can count them. Like, I mean, one off the top of my head is that crazy tackle on Ates. Ates is about to have a breakaway on a 1v1 situation, and he gets all ball. Like,
Yeah,
sitting there watching it live, I was like, he just took out Ates. And I was like, oh, but he got ball. He did. And they showed it
yeah.
back, and he for sure got it. And then who else did he
He got
get for the
Nico.
nasty tackle? Nico, and it was
Mhm.
just all ball too. And I'm like, man, you
Yeah.
know, one of those defenders which you just like, dang it, dude. I
When he
hate to
got
admit
his
that that was
card,
good, but it was good.
I was so ecstatic. I was like,
I
"Yeah,
know.
take that."
Yeah, because he was locking it down. Like I feel like it's weird to me to see Doling get like Fat Mob's like man of the
Well,
match
yeah,
thing.
that was trash.
Yeah, I'm like which FOMO, whatever, say what you want. Like it's a good resource, but sometimes
Yeah,
some of the decisions I'm like, what the heck? But like Longmire for me,
yeah,
for
he
them,
was
he's the one
definitely
that saved their butts
yeah.
so much, dude. Without him, it would have been a different game altogether. Uh, but it's okay. It's good to see Modesto back. It's good to see Azad back. You start wondering, okay, who else can we get healthy and back in this mix? Um, I don't know. It's kind of weird. We saw Kimball in the 18, which was surprising, but cool.
We didn't
Um,
see Cam or Khalid in the lineup though. That was
right.
interesting.
Yeah.
Um, good to see Azad back, like you said.
No Fox either.
Really, yeah, no Fox. Um,
Yeah.
I really did not like that Azad did not pass that ball to Altez.
Yeah. I know.
I
I know.
really, really dislike that.
Yeah. The one where he went for the dribble instead. I
Yes.
know.
Yep.
I
And
was just like, pass it,
he
Azad.
immediately got beat. Immediately got beat.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I was like sitting there thinking, I was like, maybe he was just thinking, okay, if this can go one of two ways. I can either go through them or I can get them to foul me in the box and then we'll have a PK. But I was just like, oh, just pass it, man. Just pass it centrally and then, you know, just let them take that
In
shot
this
for you.
league, it's worse. Like last season, we did well at getting PKs,
Hmm.
but this season we're
Yeah.
not because we're not even really
Yeah.
getting in the box that often, to be honest.
Hmm.
But
Or when we
you
do,
know,
it's like Khalid and they don't believe that he could
yeah,
ever be fouled because
I
he's
know.
bigger than everybody else. And it's like, but just because he's bigger doesn't mean your guy didn't just like karate chop
Don't
him
get me
behind the knee.
don't get
Like,
me started. Don't get me
yeah.
started because this is
Yeah.
a hot button issue.
Right. I know, I know. So I don't know. It's very interesting to see like the people omitted from squads, and you can't really speculate too much because we don't have
There's a
any
lot
inside
of
information.
rotation. They've been
Yeah,
traveling a ton too. Like you
it's
can't help but
true.
to think that like the traveling is taxing on their
Yes.
body and like, give the guys who've
And
played a lot some
right.
time.
And life
Like Khalid
happens.
has
I mean,
played
because
in a decent amount of games too. So,
yeah,
he deserves
same
the
with
rest.
Cam and
Yeah.
Fox, and I just think it's like everybody's getting in their head a little bit about things because we're so used to seeing certain players, and then when they don't show up, it's like, well, what's happening? And it could be something bigger than just rest.
I hope
It's not
not.
like we necessarily are constantly being like, here's our injury report. It's like
Yeah, we don't get that.
everything's a mystery.
Mhm.
Which whatever, I get it.
It is what
Players
it
have a
is.
right to privacy. It could be other things altogether, things behind the scenes happening that we're just not privy to. And we'll find out at some point. Who knows? But you gotta hope that everybody that we're putting out is for the best of the team and the flow of what we need for the game. And I do feel even though we couldn't seal the win, I think this was like a good setup for us. Not perfect, but
You know, there's always like the draws that like feel like losses and feel like
yeah,
wins. This I would say like this is a draw that did feel like a draw, but honestly, it did feel more like feel like a like 2% of a win.
yeah, yeah. I guess like for me, it tilted the scales because it was away. So I was
Yeah,
like
no,
away
no,
points.
I
But
agree.
if that had happened at home, I would agree. I would feel like, oh, we couldn't hang on to that,
Yes,
and it was a draw versus, hey, it was a
I agree
draw.
with that.
I think it's just like you said. There's very different mindset depending on all the circumstances. And right now, I'm just trying to look at it as points of points. There are a few teams that actually have surpassed us at the beginning of the league. I think we were all freaking out because we had played so many league games, and other teams hadn't played like any. And now all of a sudden, we have teams that have played 2 or 3 more games than we have that actually aren't that much higher up the table than we are. So if we can just get points and just start making that climb, we can start surpassing teams within 2 games.
Yeah.
It's like 2 games difference, 2 results, and it's a world's difference in the standings.
Points away from home are very important. We accomplished that goal.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yes. Yes. right.
Come on, you
So
Greens.
still a whole week until we home game. I
I
can't do this
know.
stretch, man. This like ridiculous
I
stretch
know.
is wearing me out. It's making me feel like the season hasn't started, even though
I
I'm
know.
watching
It's
games every other
weird.
week.
It
But it's not even just the away games. You know what I mean? It's the
The
bye
weeks
weeks.
when we don't have games too,
Yes.
it's, like, very weird. It, like,
Yeah.
feels like something's off in my life. Like, what am I
Yes.
missing? You know?
Right. Right. It feels like just a strange time warp, and I'm like, what's going on? So
A void in my heart.
normalcy will return soon. Yes, fill Dylan's heart with home games because we need some more of that. Like especially going to Greenville this coming weekend, and then dealing with he who shall not be named, and all that stuff, and then Liam McKinnon. Somebody's gonna come after me like it's Liam Tyler. I know. I'm sorry. He's on a tear with goal scoring, but you know what? Let's do it. Let's win. Let's win. Let's beat them. 40 goals.
That
Um, you know, Isaac scoring 15, Nico scoring 30, Ates 42, Cam 50. I don't know. I'm just throwing out wild numbers. Let's make it all happen. But we'll see. I do feel like we can come away from this game feeling a little bit better though. What is he momentum? It's that momentum. I think that's what's killing us is just the lack of momentum. If we can get some solid stretches of points. Like even I can stomach a couple more weeks of like draws if I have to, and
Mhm.
then start winning if
I
that's what it takes.
agree.
If it's a slow burn to get to the win column, I can deal with that and be okay. But man, I want us to start getting points more consistently.
Yeah. Well, I want us to put the ball in the net first.
Yes, yes. I want some goals. I want I want some just make you cry, nasty goals that just going in, burning the net, making keepers reevaluate whether or not they should just go work at H&R Block instead of playing in USL one. That's what I need in my life. And then, we'll see if we can start making that happen. But um, at least we know we've got a couple players back healthy. Maybe more will come show up, and then it'll all be okay. But we'll see. We'll see.
I hope we get to see Yannick soon.
Yes, I know. A lot of people have been asking about Yannick as well. They're like, "What's up with Yannick?" And I'm like, "I don't know." We're like, yeah, I hope it's good. I hope there's nothing wrong. I hope it's not like he went to Malta and then uh I don't know, just broke his pinky finger or something. I don't
No.
know. It's okay. You can play with a broken pinky finger. I didn't jinx us that bad. It's okay. It's not a big deal. But I do think
I
people are
hate
ready
when
to
you
see
do
him
this.
back. I know, I know. We'll just start doing reverse psychology. I'll just start like saying things like that about other teams and then curse them instead.
I like that.
Yeah, yeah. That's what
You
we'll do
like
from now on.
you do the Drake curse.
Yes, I'll start doing the Drake curse. I'll buy some Greenville gear and wear it around all week, and then they'll lose by like 15 this weekend. I'm like, what happened? This has never happened to us all season, and
Gio would hate that.
it's me. Oh yeah. He would stop talking to me
Yeah.
for real. But whatever, YOLO. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, Gio. But it's good. So I don't know. I feel like maybe we'll see what happens. Greenville's a tough team this weekend, so I think it's a little early to say we're back on the upswing. It is encouraging to get points away from home. Spokane hasn't been a pushover this season. It's not like they're world beaters, but they're definitely not slouches. So it was nice to get some points off of that. And I think what will really start showing the tone of where we're at in the season is what happens in Greenville. I think that's going to be kind of a big game, and I know it's
That's a
another
big
Jaeger
ask.
game.
That's a big
Yeah,
ask.
it is. It's a Jaeger game, so maybe like is it? It's not that big of an ask. It's
I think you put a big
Jaeger.
I think you put a big ask on this game.
Maybe I don't know. Believe, Dylan. But we'll see what happens. We'll have a lot to talk about, I'm sure, for our next episode. And then maybe Kyle will will rejoin us for
He might not
hopefully
after this
celebration.
episode.
Yeah, I might not. Why do I even do this with him? What's wrong with me? But I think that kind of encompasses all of our stuff. Make sure, if you can, this weekend, watch the guys play, go to the W League game, do both at the same time. Fill your life with LSC soccer goodness, and hopefully we can come away with two really good wins, two really encouraging wins this weekend. Don't forget to stay on top of the Super League signings. Check out the write ups as they come out. I've been trying my absolute best to update them every couple days and then get that out to you guys. Help you learn a little bit more about these players. Super League's coming quick. Stadium is shooting up like crazy. I don't understand how quickly they're able to get this stadium done. It's
Science, man, it's crazy.
witchcraft. I don't know. Every like
Tom
second day,
Cruise.
somebody posts a new picture. Yes, Tom Cruise, help me, Tom Cruise, build me a stadium. It's every 2 days there's like 50% more done. So, um, September when we're gonna be in there playing, it's gonna be great. So, get pumped for that. Get psyched. Get ready for this game this weekend for both teams. And we will catch you on the next episode.